Hey everyone, welcome to Cerwin Vegas, and today I'm going to be doing just that. Beside me here, I got a Cerwin Vega AT12 that's in need of a little bit of love and care. Nothing too serious. It's a very common issue to happen with these. This AT12 has developed a bit of a cabinet rattle. Not to worry, it's not too hard of a fix. If you're somewhat handy, it can be easily taken care of. We're going to open it up. I'm going to go through, show you a good way to find out exactly where the rattle is. You could have multiple rattles. Sometimes they're easy to find, sometimes they're not. So, with that said, let's get to it. First things first, we're going to try to find out where that rattle's coming from. First way, it's easy, you just start tapping on the cabinet. So you come along this side. And you're listening for that little bit of hollow sound. So, to me, this sounds pretty solid. So on this side, right there. Now you can hear that little bit of hollowness to it, and almost kind of. And then now it's solid again. So I'm going to say it's good up here. There's a good chance it's separated. I'm going to say right about here. So that's the first way you can do it. The second way you can do it, put your favorite song on, crank them up, and just feel along all the edges of the cabinet, anywhere where there's a joint. Run your thumb and your fingers, there's a joint here and here. And as the speaker is playing, just slowly move your fingers up the joints. Just like so. And if you run your fingers past where the separation is, you're going to feel the one edge of it vibrating and the other one will be solid. So if it's separated here, which I'm pretty sure it is, you're going to notice that, and you'll feel that the face of it is going to be solid, and then this edge is going to be vibrating a bit. I went on the App Store, downloaded a free tone generator app. There's lots of good ones. And turn them on. Turn the generator on, start sweeping through the frequency spectrum. I always start low on the low end, around 30, and just start bringing it up, and eventually you're going to hear it. So I'm going to do that, and hopefully my microphone picks it up. I'm sure it's going to be obvious. I already know what it sounds like just from having music playing, but I'm going to do it just to show you guys, and then you're going to know what these things do and how they self-destruct themselves. And you see here I'm at about 8 hertz. Hit play and turn them up. Then you get the woofer moving. And I just like to start going through. So that was pretty easy to figure out. It was pretty loud. That's what I heard when I had music going on them. So now that we know what's right here, we know where we're looking when we crack into these, and I'll show you guys a nice easy way to fix this up. All right, now that we know where the rattle's coming from, let's get to fixing these things. First things first, we're going to pull out the woofer. And just like any time when you're pulling out any of the components of a speaker, always note which one is where. So here we've got red, they've got a red dot, and a negative to the other one. This isn't always the case depending on the model of the speaker. There are some speakers I've worked on where they've had the tweeters reverse polarity, so always note and make sure they go back together the way they were. Now, we're going to be putting clamps on here to help pull this together while we fix the issue. And you want to, I'm going to tap. It starts getting hollow right about here. And then it gets solid again here. So I'm going to have clamps probably here and about here. So the grill of the mid-range driver does protrude past these edges a little bit, and I don't want to dent this in. So just for that reason, we're going to pull the mid-range driver out as well. All right, now you see on the inside, we've got some of the baffling in here. So I'm just going to pull some of this back. Just enough to give us room to work inside. And there we go. All right, now let's take a look inside. So as you can see here, they've already got some bracing installed on the inside. I don't know if you can see at the bottom there. It's tough getting in here. Right about here and all along here, you can see there's actually a separation on that bracing piece. So we got it opened up now, and we found out that they've got a brace around all the way from the top to the bottom already, and that's what's given out. You could clamp this and maybe run some glue on here if you flip it the other way and let that harden, and that might seal it up, but you still risk that chance of it rattling if it's not pulled right tight against. So I'm not confident that that's actually going to fix the problem. I'm going to remove the tweeter as well, just to avoid any damage and to give me a little more room inside. Well, now that I got inside there and took a better look, there's actually a lot more going on in here than I originally thought. It's also separating at the bottom, and I'm going to seal this all the way top to bottom. And seeing as how they already had a bracing piece in there, my original idea I'm going to stray away from. I'm not going to pull this out. It's still very well attached to the face. It's the sides where there's nothing. I don't know if they didn't glue it, or they didn't glue it very well anyways. So I'm going to be doing a lot more work in there. So I'm going to pull everything out. I'm going to pull the crossover, get all these wires out of my way so I can work, not have to worry about damaging anything. Get yourself a piece of wood, and you're going to add this in for bracing. Check for length. Now I know I want this to reach all the way to the bottom. I'm not overly concerned about it going all the way to the top because it's still attached pretty good up there. And it is pretty much the whole way. Yeah, I'm only about an inch off, so it's not too terribly bad. I'm okay with that. I'm going to be using wood glue on this. I'm just going to use screws to hold it in place while the glue dries. It's really the glue that I want to hold it together. So I went ahead and I pre-drilled the piece of wood that I'm going to use for bracing. Now make sure you pre-drill these. Make sure you check. Some cabinets are a little more involved than others, but make sure you pre-drill them where you know you're going to be able to get the drill into to get a screw into them. All right, so now that I know, I'll be able to get this sucker in there. Make sure it's going to sit up there nice and flat. Make sure there's nothing in the way. Now what I'm going to want to do is I want to get some clamps on it. Probably just one across the middle here. Should be just fine to hold this together. I want to protect the outside of the cabinet, so you want to get something against there. You can use a rag or an old t-shirt or something. I like to use this. This is they use this at the bottom of toolboxes. There we go. Get right about there. There, tighten it till you feel it. It's nice and solid. Now I can feel it here. I no longer have a gap along that edge. So what I'm going to be using to glue these together is just carpenter's glue, wood glue, nothing fancy. And I'll give it a little Now carefully bring this inside without touching the outside of the cabinet. And just like that. And that wood glue will kind of hold it there. It is pretty tacky stuff, so it makes it easy. You don't gotta sit there and hold it. Now the wood that I used is a little bit warped, so it's kind of pulling away in the middle. So I'm gonna put a screw in there first. There. First one's in. You want to pre-drill just enough to get some threads to catch it and grab into the side. All right, so now that I got that piece all screwed in, I'll get you guys in here for a look. So that's all I did. Really just added a piece of wood in. The screws are merely there just to support it till the wood glue sets. I just ran the same piece from top to bottom. And once that glue sets, it'll be ready to go. Now, I'm gonna do this on the bottom as well. Just because I know it's separated there. You can see, I can't really get in there, but you can see at the bottom there, like I showed before, it's separated, so. Just gonna get that all fixed up as well. Might put some silicone in and make sure it's all sealed. Now that we got the piece in there, glued in, I'm gonna leave it clamped and let it sit overnight. And then tomorrow I can come in, put everything back together, and it'll sound good as new, no more rattle. Have the cabinet sat overnight, I'm gonna take the clamp off, get all the components put back into the cabinet, and give it a test and see if we still have that rattle.